So what we want to get to is to nOra. nOra is our, again, we've been talking today about the AI and the artificial intelligence and the application intelligence. And again, this is where we're heading with our application. How many different ways can we have an application that helps us in that journey without having to log into the system and work like a normal ERP system? I think by way of introduction, we might have a... We have far too much time on our hands. Sorry, I accidentally moved that on. You can swap it across. Okay. Right, Paul.
Okay.
She's your baby.
Fantastic. Okie doke. nOra. So, for a bit of introduction, we've had nOra again for the last 5-6 years. She's an automated user that sits in the background and does various tasks for you. So, even going back to the classic systems, we have, oops, there's my emails appeared. We could send emails into nOra. She could respond to report requests. We could get her to send information to you. She would process files on a file server. And you could talk to nOra directly from the role center. However, now we've taken that concept and brought it into one central artificially intelligent assistant and expanded it out so it works in...
That's right. Ignore me.
Okay. Weird. Thanks. We expanded her out to work across places where you really are when you're not inside Nav. And the first of those is Skype. We as a business, as much as I try to push us away from it, still use Skype every day. That's how we talk to each other when we're not sitting next to each other, and sometimes when we are. We have voice conversations, and we use it for instant messaging. So it makes sense that nOra would be in Skype. So let me say hello. So this is a nOra bot that's connecting into the nOra system, and in a second, when she wakes up, we'll respond to say hello. Well, hello there, Paul. Well, let's be polite. How are you? Let's ask how she's doing. Fingers crossed she's doing well. Good, thanks. What can I do for you? So it's always polite to introduce yourself, and nOra does reward you if you're polite to her, interesting enough. So the first thing is, if I want to, what are the first things people ask to look at in a Nav system? What are the things they try and get really quickly that they tend to not want to log into Nav to do? And that's headline information, these big KPIs. So I can ask nOra things like, what were the sales yesterday? Now, nOra knows the sales figure for yesterday for this company is 8,766. That's not great if you look at some of the debts we're going to look at in a minute. But nOra can go and get key piece of information, which is great. I can keep asking her those questions, but that seems like a bit of an arduous process every morning to ask 15 questions. So, to make it simpler, I can simply ask her, what's going on? What's going on means, give me my daily summary. So here we can register as many questions that you want nOra to answer when you trigger the daily summary, my daily briefing. So that's my what's going on. So those are general, big piece of information, headlines, but let's get a bit more specific. Let's look at particular records in Nav. So those of you who've seen nOra before will know this is a classic example. What is the inventory of our favorite product? Paris chair. So, as you'd expect, nOra knows all about Paris chairs, knows all about the products inside our Nav system, and she knows the inventory is the quantity I've got on hand, so she's going to tell me that information back. The important thing here is we should see that the Paris guest chair is a hyperlink, so when I click on it, obviously it'll open up a copy of Nav, log me in if I'm authenticated, and it'll take me directly to the parish chair or whatever other record she started talking about at that point in time. So she can always give you back into nav. So that's great. The nice thing with nOra is you can say things in various different ways. So inventory, let's say, I don't want to ask that, I want to say, what's the stock of parish chair? Same sort of thing. And she returns back my safety stock. Well, that's not quite right. I didn't want my safety stock, I wanted my stock. Interestingly, in nav, it's not called stock, it's called inventory, which is a problem because most people say stock. So now you can teach nOra. You can correct her, you can advise her when she goes in the wrong direction. So now I can say, when I say stock, I mean inventory. What it's going to do is give nOra a phrase replacement. And she says, when you say stock, I'll pretend you said inventory. She's not accepting that's the truth, but she'll pretend because I'm innocent. Obviously, I said when I say stock, I mean inventory. If I said when anyone or everyone says stock, well, that would apply to everyone. But this is a specific replacement or change for me because of the way I speak to her. So now when I say, what is the stock of parish chair? Again, I should now get the stock. So she gives me the inventory this time. So that's across the system. You can put these aliases in. So that's great. But Skype isn't the only place that we want to be able to use nOra. Skype for Business is a piece of software that's been going around for quite a while. It was a link, it became Skype for Business. Microsoft bought it, didn't know what to do with it. And they made a decision a few months ago, actually, to make a new product called Teams, which we're starting to use in the business quite a lot. So let's have a look at that. Teams is basically a workforce communications tool. I think that's the official tagline. It's both instant messaging and conference calling and group messaging, which is great when you want to send gifts to random people in the office. And it's that sort of application. It's trying to replace the instant messaging for organizations. And obviously, nOra's in here as well. So now I can ask things like, how many bicycles do we have left? A different terminology, call a different function, saying I can find 70 of bicycle. Phrasing's a little bit off, but we can change that in setup. Now, let's go on forward. So I wanted to investigate more about these bicycles. Well, that's because I haven't got enough. I can say, when is the next delivery of bicycle? What that's going to do is go and look through the system, my open purchase orders, my released purchase orders, I should say, and see that, interestingly, the next delivery is due the 14th 11th, which is today. We have a delivery. So she can not just go and get a particular piece of information, she can go and get groups of records and analyze what you're looking for. The reason I'm asking her this from my Teams client is because I've got a customer that wants to buy some. Canon Group, favorite friends. So one of the reasonable questions is, what's the available credit of Canon? Now, again, this is actually a little bit cleverer than it looks because there isn't an available credit field inside NAV. There's a credit limit field and a balance field. Combine the two and you get an available credit, but NAV doesn't have that information without a bit of work. So what that's taking advantage of is our enhanced fields mechanism. Again, this has been around with us for a while and has been updated for Enhanced 365. You'll see in the session this afternoon. But this means you can define your own fields, your own calculations, your own lookups, and they become part of nOra's language. So I can extend nOra's lexicon, what she understands, just by adding these enhanced fields. Available credit is just credit limit minus balance. So they've got a fair bit of credit, but I actually know there's one particular invoice that I want to chase. So nOra can help me with that. So I can say, has invoice, I need to know my number, oops, 103028 been paid? And again, nOra understands. So here she's telling me the full balance of that invoice is still outstanding, which is a bit of a problem to me. But hey, they're okay, they've got a fair bit of credit, so I'm okay. If I'd asked that and it had been paid, I would have been told when it was paid. If it was a half paid or those outstanding amounts, I'd be told that as well. And these are just extra functions. So that's great. I can advise my sales guy that he can sell these goods I've done on my checks without ever actually logging into Nav. So onwards to the next clients, because Skype's great. Teams is Microsoft's solution to Skype for Business. But really what they're doing with Teams is trying to compete with a product called Slack. If you're a geek, You will have heard of Slack, I imagine. If you're not, you may not have heard of it yet. It's actually really popular in the media industry in the US. They're valued at about $3 billion at the moment, so they're pretty big. But essentially, it's the same thing Teams does. You set it up, you can have instant message conversations, group conversations. It's really nice. We really like it. And again, obviously, nOra is in here. So I can come into here and I can say, sell 1 bicycle, because I can't spell it, to Canon. And what this is going to do is, instead of all of the actions we've been doing is getting information out, we've been asking what the sales are, what the inventory is, what the balance is, what the credit limit is. Now I'm telling nOra to do something. So instead of getting information out, I'm pushing information back into Nav and taking an action. So nOra has now created a sales order, order 1010, for the Canon group for that 1 bicycle. Just push through using the defaults. So we can use nOra to push information into the system, to take action in the system as well as get information out. So it's not just a give me these facts kind of thing. Next up, that bicycle, I don't know which one it is. The customer's like, great, the bicycle's going to arrive. What is it actually that I've just paid for? So I can ask nOra that. I can say, what does the bicycle look like? This is interesting, another concept, which is, so far we've only talked about text. But obviously, all these applications, Skype, Teams, Slack, and onwards, support images. So Nav knows what a bicycle looks like. This is what the bicycle item looks like, and that's just grabbing the picture from inside NAV. And it's not just items, not just products. This can be done for anything that has pictures in Nav. A good example of that is contacts and users and people. So I can ask, for example, because we're all missing him, what does Matt Dredge look like when he's not in adverts? And as you can imagine, we get a delightful picture of Mr. Dredge in a second when she comes through. Magic. Maybe Matt isn't here today, so we can't show him. So you can get pictures from various different records, various different places inside Nav. So that's client number 3. Sorry, we're going to stay on here. So the next thing I want to do is, I've talked about getting information out, putting information back in, taking actions, getting pictures. The next thing I want to do is actually send information into Nav that isn't text. So here we've got an example of a file. This is a file that contains a laptop register. I'd made it up. These are some people and their laptops. And what I want to do is give it to nOra, and let nOra upload that into Nav. Now, if that was a real table in Nav, a laptop register, I'd want nOra to create these records or update them. But seeing as there isn't a laptop register, I want to take advantage of our enhanced tables functionality in Nav to create a new table inside Nav, in data, and put this information in it, and make it available to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey nOra, I've got some information for you. And all being well, she'll say, what do you have? And I'll say, I've got some laptops.
Got a file.
Pardon?
Got a file.
Oh, sorry, I've got a file. I've got a file. Okay, upload it here. And again, because these products support uploading of documents, I can say, I've got a file. Here it is on my computer. And I'm going to go to my documents. Here's my laptop's file. Yes, I'm going to upload that, give it to nOra, and nOra will be able to take that file and take action on it. And we'll look at later on other options for this. But she's going to take that information, and she's going to take a look at it for me. And by taking a look at it, she's going to import that data and create the records, create the Nav table. When she's done that, I can obviously then ask her, much like I've been asking about Parish Chairs and Canon Group, I can ask her for information on it. So I can say, what is the purchase date of Alice Hart's laptop? And she'll go away and get me that information. Brilliant. So it's not real Nav data, it's just been uploaded through nOra, and now nOra can report on it. Okay, we're still going. Next up, we talked about pushing data in and nOra responding back, but everything that so far that nOra's done is I've told her to do something and she's doing it straight away. But let's say I want to have a little delay in this. So here I want to say, remind me, because that laptop actually is pretty old, to call IT about Alice's laptop at, let's say, 5 p.m. I'll put 5 p.m. in there. So this is going to create me, in Nav, a standard to-do. So using the standard nav to-dos mechanism, it's going to create me a to-do, but she's also going to remind me. So nOra has a mechanism by which she knows you asked for this in this particular place, in Skype, in Slack, in Teams, and then she'll send a reminder at that particular time with my text back to me through wherever I started that process. So you can use it to trigger little reminders. For example, I could say, remind me to wrap, wrap this up in, 5 minutes. So she's going to create another reminder. So you can do this from any of the clients. Okay, right. Up next, back into Skype. Just going to show you a little thing in here. On that topic of nOra telling you things, well, that was a kind of halfway house because I was telling her to tell me. What if I wanted things in Nav to trigger nOra messages without me ever asking for it? Well, me subscribing, maybe. So if I go into Nav and look at my purchase orders, that bicycle, we looked earlier and we said there was a purchase order for the bicycle, so I actually want to go and, where am I? Find my purchase orders. Those bicycles are going to arrive, which is good for us. So I'm going to go and find my purchase order. I think it was Mundasand I bought it from. Somewhere, Mundasand. So this is just a normal Nav purchase order. And someone, somewhere in the business is going to receive those goods. So I'm going to post the receipt. I'm not going through warehousing. I'm just receiving the goods. And even before it shows me the post invoice, I've already got my message from Skype from nOra saying, hey, you just had a goods receipt, because I told her that I wanted to subscribe to that message. It's all integrated with our enhanced workflow product. So as well as emailing you, she can tell you things directly through your preferred communication mechanism. So that's one example of a workflow, just a notification. What if I have some workflows to answer? I can ask nOra that as well. Do I have any workflows? Do I? Yes, I do. Another little difference. So instead of text, now we're using these little cards to give you limited options. So for workflow, for approvals, for lots of things where there's only yes or no, maybe, or a limited set, nOra can present the user with a fixed card. You click on the option, and I've now approved my purchase invoice. Great. So I've now handled my workflows from within Skype, Slack, whatever it may be. These functionalities are all also available from email. We wouldn't remove email from nOra. So everything I'm doing here, you can do by emailing directly into nOra. nOra takes your request and handles it in the appropriate way. That includes, obviously, asking for information, sending it back. But I could also email into nOra those end forms we had earlier. A bit of a difference here is when I attach these end forms, I used to have to be very specific about the subject of my email, the name of the file. Now I don't. It's all inherent. nOra knows this is an end form, knows how to handle it, and will just create my expense, raise my purchase order, raise my sales order, whatever I'm doing, she can do it without being so sensitive about the subject and bodies of the emails. Okay. Okay, so this is my nervous bit. So this is great. We think it's really nice. You can talk to nOra through text, through Skype, Slack. You can actually use Facebook Messenger as well if you're using that for business. But really, what we needed to give was nOra a voice. nOra's needed a voice. So we wanted to use a voice. So here is a Google Home. Hi, Google. So, yes. We've got a password. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, instead of having to type to nOra, we can use Google Home because we've integrated to it. So I can say, hey, Google, talk to nOra.
I'll be here.
Okay, Google, talk to nOra.
Sure. Here's the test version of nOra 365.
Well, hello there, Paul.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Paul.
How are you?
I am very well, Paul. Thank you.
Good to know. I've met someone.
Nice. So, what are they called?
Ian Humphreys. Ian Humphreys.
If you know the postcode, let me have it now.
KT12FH.
First line of their address.
Some big house in the countryside. I don't know.
City.
Not London.
Phone number.
07923 124 539.
Email.
theboss@thenavpeople.com.
Great. Shall I add them to Nav?
Yes.
Great. I've added Ian Humphreys to contacts.
Okay, bye.
Okay, talk to you soon, I hope.
Hope so. So, what we showed there, what we showed there was actually a multi-step action. We haven't actually seen that before. The idea of nOra asking you follow-up questions and doing things in multiple stages. She asked me details about Ian's contact. Now, obviously, the thing that voice can't do is send me pictures. She doesn't know how to do that, but we have other mechanisms around that. So one thing I'd like to do is, actually, I have really met Ian, so I'm going to try and take his picture. And if I can remember which one of these I'm on. Anyone? 5. Thank you. I've got a phone. Please don't text me. Okay. So I'm in Skype on my phone because Skype is a thing on phone, and I can say, okay, hey nOra, I'm going to take a picture of Ian Humphreys and probably a lot of other people at the same time. So she's going to say, oh no.
Had to do it. Had to at some point, didn't it?
Anyone give me another phrase?
This is what Ian looks like.
I have a picture of Ian. How about that? Oh no.
Ah.
Anyone got the phrase? Can you give me a phrase?
This is what
Yeah,
Ian
thank
Humphreys
you very
looks
much.
like. Yeah.
What Ian Humphreys looks
Hang on.
like. Please ask me for a file. Yes, brilliant. Okay. This is actually what Ian Humphreys looks like and the people behind him, so smile, everyone. And I've now captured his image forever. So nOra's now going to take that file and upload it, which is great. But if I was on Voice or anywhere else, it can't send me that picture back, so I can use a function called describe me. Describe Ian Humphreys. This is risky, isn't it, to do it for your pass? Let's see what it says. So this is using the same technology that Tom showed earlier. 0-year-old.
Ah.
We were so close.
Yeah.
It was 54 reliably before. But it definitely shows a person standing in a room.
Yes, definitely in a
so
room.
this shows that AI is sometimes intelligent
I
and
am
sometimes not.
ageless. I am ageless.
Just an aside, actually, what it does is, if the person's under 16, it sets the age to 0. It's true, because they don't want you taking pictures of kids. So
That's
maybe
what
you look very young. Last up, while I'm on my phone. Google Assistant and other things are also available on phone. The nice thing with Google Assistant on phone is is that you can talk to them. So not everyone has a Google Home or an Alexa or anything sitting in their office or carrying with them. So here I can say, talk to nOra.
Nora.
Talk to nOra. There we go.
Sure. Let's get the test version of nOra 365. Hello, Paul.
I've broken a chair.
Oops. How many?
2.
In which location?
Blue.
Do you want to adjust the item?
Yes.
I have corrected Sydney swivel chair, green by -1 in blue.
So you can use it on the go, wherever you are. It's just another device. And I'm going to go back to...
Well, I think that deserves a round of applause. There's a whole session this afternoon on that. He's got nothing left to show. No, honestly, he's going to tell you a lot about how she thinks and stuff, and how you can get her. Maybe you should add that phrase, whatever it was you just had.
Whatever.
I've got a picture of Ian Humphreys.
Yeah. I'll share it.
So I just wanted to end. Is my clicker over there? I just wanted to end on that punctuation point that hopefully we've shown you today about artificial intelligence, automated intelligence, and application intelligence. It's the same thing with that. There's a lot of AI in that Google Home. It's doing the speech recognition, but the stuff that knows what a Paris chair is And that's application logic. That's stuff that we've created. So there's a bridge between these things that makes it all work. It's not just one thing. AI is not just one magical answer. It's when you plug it together with that application intelligence that gets really smart results. We're just going to close because we spent a lot of time and effort doing one more of those little videos. I hope you'll indulge us for one more, but we're going to play it right at the beginning, and we didn't get an opportunity. So we're just going to queue up one more video before my closing.
Hello nav people and hello nav people customers. My name is Percy and I'm the general manager for the Dynamics NAV product and future releases of this product codenamed Dynamics 365 Tenerife. I'm very excited about what we have to show you in a few weeks' time when we launch Dynamics NAV 2018, and even more excited about the future of this product and what we're going to do in the upcoming releases. I was really looking forward to being with you at this customer event. Ian has invited me, and I thought that would be a wonderful thing to do, to spend time with our customers. Unfortunately, I could not make it. But I'm happy to say that Klaus from my team is going to be attending the event, and I hope that you will have a great time. I'm sure that Ian and Nav people are going to show you all the greatest capabilities of our new upcoming release and all the reasons to be excited about the many future releases of this product. Take care. Bye.
He waits. That's what he does. And I'll tell you what, tick followed tock, followed tick, followed tock. And Marco said, I don't care who you are, here's to your dream. The old nav guys moved to the bar. Here's to you, Marco. And the fat drummer hit the beat with all his heart.
Whoa. Is this what we pay for at the nav people? Yep.
Here's to waiting.
Thank you and have a great day. Thank you.